Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm the OPJellicent and we're team building here for week number 5 in the IBL D-League, up against Sharpedo 43 and his Sylmar Sylveons. He's been doing pretty well, he's currently coming into this week 3-1. We are of course 4-0 because we have been very proficient this season, and our roster has been very good, but I will be going over the matchup as a whole and then going through all of my Pokemon individually one by one. So let's just go ahead and hop right into the Sylmar Sylveons roster right here. They have a Jirachi, which is definitely one of their better ways of dealing with Reuniclus. I could see some sort of Calm Mind Psyshock set coming to be able to go ahead and counter Calm Mind Reuniclus, but they would have to go ahead and fear Calm Mind Acid Armor. The problem with Calm Mind Acid Armor, obviously, is that I would only be running one attack. That attack would have to be Psychic, and they have a Muck on their team, so I could see that Calm Mind Jirachi being a thing. Other than that, I could see some sort of Colbur Berry set coming to go ahead and lure my Weavile. Weavile is not coming to this game, though, so I'm not as worried about that as I might be. Another option is just Choice Scarf and try to flinch everything down, which ideally that's not a thing, but I do have good Jirachi responses on my team between Landorus T, and Polion can take it on to some extent, as well as my Scarf Mismagius can definitely go ahead and outspeed any sort of Choice Scarf set, and you actually see that Mismagius is on my team this week, so yeah, I can go ahead and deal with the Jirachi pretty nicely. Dragonite is such a giant threat against my team too, being able to go ahead and Dragon Dance and just sweep my Dream as a whole right here. Thankfully, my Choice Scarf for this week actually gets a pretty cool tech and Icy Wind, so after one Dragon Dance, I can go ahead and start to Icy Wind that thing, hit it really hard while simultaneously reducing its speed stats, so that could definitely be very good for me right here. They have a Tapu Fini, which is one of their best Weavile responses, because if I was Z Weavile, obviously I could go ahead and Z Poison Jab it, but regular Poison Jab is not actually doing too much. I could see like Choice Scarf Fini being a thing, since my only actual Fairy Resist right here besides my Big Mortar, which is not really one in the first place, is my Empoleon. Now Empoleon would be a problem for the Fini, of course, and Empoleon is actually one of my better Fini responses. I know it gets access to Nature's Madness and whatnot, but I mean, I don't really care. I can go ahead and just get up my rocks on that, wear it down with the Grass Knot and whatnot, so I can deal with Fini pretty naturally. If they do bring an offensive Fini, it's going to be really pressured by stuff like Landorus T's Earthquake, Return for Mega Lopunny. Their speed tiers actually right here allow me to run Adamant Mega Lopunny, which is interesting. Their fastest is the Galvantula. Actually, it's the Mega Gallade, but I mean, I can still run Adamant against that, so that's definitely very good. Their speed tiers are kind of whack, I'm not going to lie, but they have the Alolan Muck right here, which is... Actually, I didn't go over Galvantula, did I? They have Galvantula, which is definitely just a sticky web setter. Can go ahead and run through things with their dual stab. I'm assuming they'll just run Focus Sash with like Bug Buzz, Thunder, maybe Thunderbolt, and then Hidden Power Ice for the Landorus T, which is totally cool with me. I really don't care about that set at all. I can naturally deal with it with a lot of Pokemon on my team right here. Not even sure if it'll come, because it really struggles up getting up webs when I get my rocks up, and it's pressured by Fake Out plus Ice Punch for Mega Lopunny, so that's going to be very scary for them right here. Alolan Muck is probably the biggest thing that I'm scared of right here, because it's funny, because I'm bringing Mismagius the first week that they have an Alolan Muck, so that's going to be very scary right here. That's one of the best responses. Now, I do have some nice tech on my Mismagius just for the Alolan Muck, but besides that, it can be very scary being able to take on Reuniclus as well. It really doesn't care about Thundurus if I run a special set, which, spoilers, I'm not. There's no way I could run special Thundurus right here, so you'll see that when I go over my roster, of course. But Alolan Muck is obviously a problem, as it should be. It's such a good Pokemon right here. Really struggles against Landorus T, Mega Lopunny, and some of my other Pokemon right here, being my Megmortar. I did run Bellydra Megmortar, and it really can't do much against that, so it does have its drawbacks right here if they do want to bring it, but I could definitely see it being a very solid response to a lot of my special offense right here. They have a Seismitoad, so they actually have double ground right here with Seismitoad plus Nidoking. I guess I'll go over these next 2 months together. They both get Stealth Rocks. They're both going to probably run Ice-type coverage for my Landorus T right here, and they're going to be able to go ahead and switch into my Thundurus reliably in quotation marks, but obviously Grass Knot is a good tech that I can run for both of them. If Nidoking comes, I'm actually kind of expecting a Choice Scarf set. If Seismitoad comes, I'm expecting more of a Fizz-Def set that can help take on my Landorus T pretty nicely, so that's definitely going to be what I'm expecting from those two Pokemon right here. They have a Mega Gallade, which is basically able to go ahead and... I can actually run Adamant right here if it really wants to, just because obviously it doesn't really have a speed tier it needs to hit, unless they're actually expecting max speed Shaman, but I mean, I am bringing a pretty fast Shaman this week, but it's not an offensive one. It's just a giant threat, because After Rocks plus 2 Ice Punch can actually knock out Landorus T through a Resist Berry, so that's definitely very scary. Really pressured by Pokemon like Mega Lopunny, which is going to be very important, and Something else I do have to keep in mind is Shadow Sneak. My win condition, I'll just spoil it, my win condition this week is Miss Magius. I'm going for the Miss Magius win this week because I haven't brought it all season, and Shadow Sneak is something that Mega Gallade right there can run, so I have to be really careful. They actually have several priority users that can take advantage of Miss Magius. Thankfully, not thankfully, they have obviously Sucker Punch Decidueye, Shadow Sneak, Mega Gallade. They have Sucker Punch from Nidoking right here, so those are all things I do have to keep in mind. Speaking of Decidueye, that is the next Pokemon, like I said, can run Sucker Punch for my Miss Magius, and that can definitely be a stop to my win condition. Other than that, his Dual Stab does really well against my team. Could be one of their better Uniclus responses if they run like a Swords Dance set with like Spirit Shackle and Trap Me, and I could definitely see that being a quite threatening set right here. It is kind of stopped by Pokemon like Landorus T though, and if I am running a physical Thunderous Sai, which they definitely have to expect as I've run it before against Sock, they do have to keep in mind Flyinium Z could be a thing right here. So obviously Darkinium Z could also be a thing from a special variant. Could run like Colbur Berry if they really want to. Another option could be the Ghost Resist Berry. I think they might recognize that if they don't bring a Alolan Muck, they're actually going to be very weak to Miss Magius and just run the Ghost Resist Berry in combination with Sucker Punch just to have a hard check to Miss Magius right here. Could definitely see that, but overall, I know what Decidueye is really going to do. It's another defogger for their team if they really are about that. Vaporeon right here isn't really something I'm expecting to come because, I mean, a lot of my setup Pokemon like Landorus T, Weavile, and Megalopony, those are the physical attackers that would want to counter, but +2 Weavile after a Swords Dance just OHKOs it with Knockoff, if not after Rocks. Landorus T after a Swords Dance, it blows it away with Earthquake, and then after a Power-Up Punch, Megalopony 2-hit KOs with Return right here, so it could run Roar, but it's really not going to be that effective because it'll be taking hits in the process. And then finally they have a Houndoom, which Houndoom is their secondary Z-move user alongside that Dragonite, and I'm actually kind of expecting Houndoom to run like a Z Sunny Day set this week. I think they will see that my response to that thing is Goodra, and if they can just wear down Goodra, they can actually just sweep my team as a whole with a Z Sunny Day Houndoom right here with that speed boost, because my fire resist is McMortar, and if they get up Rocks and just pressure Goodra, I could see that Houndoom set doing a lot of work. I do have a Scarfer that's faster than Houndoom after the Z Sunny Day, and I do have coverage on said Scarfers, so I'll go ahead and get into that when I get into Miss Magius, of course, but that's going to be the Sylmar Sylveons roster right here, and let's go ahead and get right into my 6 Pokemon. Okay, first Pokemon I have right here is Dimensions, my Megalopony, which can run an Adamant Nature because, as I said, I'm just going to be blatant, their speed tiers kind of suck, their fastest Pokemon being Mega Gallade at 110, so I can run an Adamant Nature right here pretty freely, and you can see I'm actually not running the Fake Out set once again. There's only 9 weeks to the season. I want to run as many sets as I can that's possible, so I actually have Sub Power Up Punch this week. I bring Sub Encore last week, and I figured I want to try Power Up Punch. The original set was actually just Substitute, Power Up Punch, and Last Resort, but I figured that was not very viable because when I was reading the calcs, +1 return, 2-hit KOs the Vaporeon anyway, because obviously it's a very strong attack with the Adamant Nature, so I can go ahead and just run Power Up Punch, Drain Punch, and Return right here pretty freely. +1 return can go ahead and 2-hit KO Pokemon like Seismitoad. Muck really does not want to take me on right here. Tapu Fini will get 2-hit KO'd by +1 return, which is definitely very helpful right here too, so I sub, I go for, actually if I sub and they come in, I'd probably just go for a return, but if I can Power Up Punch as they come in, I can definitely go ahead and try to return it down right here. So just a really nice breaker, definitely not a really good pivot into anything in particular, but I really think this can offensively pressure a lot on their team. I can really hit the Decidueye really hardly due to my ability, which is obviously Scrappy. I do have Limber before Mega Evolving, just in case they run something like Thunder Wave Galvantula, and I do have to try to pivot into Megalopony on that before webs go up or anything like that, so I could see that being a thing right here, but Megalopony should be able to put in a lot of work right here. I'm hoping we can go ahead and show off that Power Up Punch tech right here, and if not, I'll probably bring it another week, of course, but let's go ahead and get right into my second Pokemon. Okay, next up right here I actually have Mancini or Thunderous Sai, which is running the exact same set that I brought against Sock in week number 3. The sub bulk up set right here with 2 attacks does super well. I'm assuming as one of his better initial responses to this Pokemon could be the Seismitoad or the Nidoking, both being ground type Pokemon. He could run something like Rindo Berry Seismitoad for Grass Knot, but +1 Flyinium Z actually blows away Seismitoad and Nidoking. It's also able to go ahead and take care of his other electric resist being Decidueye, so I really like this Pokemon right here being able to go ahead and basically just claim kills. I could definitely see it sweeping if he doesn't bring a reliable Scarfer that can go ahead and check this set right here, so it can really go ahead and put in a lot of work. I was thinking about running Defiant in case he tries to defog with the Fini, but I figured a Prankster bulk ups and subs could be a lot more valuable right here, and Defiant would kind of just be overkill, so I'm just going to go ahead and run the obvious Prankster sub bulk up set right here, and I can go ahead and force that Pokemon like Fini. For example, they go Nidoking, I sub on that. I sub as they switch out, and they can just go ahead and Flanium Z. If they go Seismitoad, I just go ahead and bulk up because I can take any attack. Fire off that Flanium Z, get rid of that thing, and then I actually can have a much better time with some of my other Pokemon. My physical attackers here being Mega Lopunny and my Landorus T, as you guys will see later right here. Max Speed Jolly, just because I do want to be able to outspeed Mega Gallade, obviously, because Flanium Z is one of my ways of checking that thing very reliably right here. This thing is weak to hazards, of course, so I do have a hazard controller on this team, as you guys will see when I go over Empoleon, but yeah, my next Pokemon right here is actually the Wind Condition, and it's coming for the first time, so let's go ahead and get right into that. Okay, coming for the first time right here, we have Kikyo or Mismagius, which is named after Kikyo Zoldyck from the Zoldyck family and Hunter x Hunter right here. Choice Scarf, you might find it interesting that I'm bringing it for the first time when my opponent has an Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck is pressured by so many Pokemon on my team, being Mega Lopunny, being Landorus T, being Physical Thunderous Sai. Obviously, actually I didn't mention that when going over Thunderous Sai, the Flanium Z can actually go ahead and check Alolan Muck too, in case that is their Thunderous Sai check, if they're expecting a special set obviously, but Mismagius right here with Shadow Ball just does so much work. There are some priority options, as I said when going over their roster, that I do have to keep in mind, being Shadow Sneak from the Mega Gallade, Sucker Punch from the Decidueye, and the Sucker Punch from the Nidoking, but other than that, Shadow Ball just has a field day. It is able to go ahead and check the Jirachi due to obviously me being faster than the Choice Scarf set. I have enough speed for that. Jirachi hits 167, I have 168, and you see that I actually have that Destiny Bond tech right there. That's just in case Dragonite gets out of hand, for example. If for whatever reason I do not break Multiscale and that thing is still has a Dragonite setup, I can go ahead and Destiny Bond, sorry, as they go ahead and knock me out, and I can just go ahead and get rid of them right here. Other than that, if I do have the Dragonite's Multiscale broken, Icy Wind is a good check to that. And then I have Power Gem on here, because as I said when going over their team, Houndoom with Z Sunny Day is actually a very viable threat against my team, and I do want to make sure that after Rocks, I do have a way of dealing with that thing, so Rocks plus Power Gem from Scarf Mismagius, which does outspeed that thing, can go ahead and check that no problem right here, so that can definitely be very cool. And yeah, hopefully Kikyo or Mismagius right here can go ahead and pick up a nice late game sweep, but let's go ahead and get right into my second half of the team. Okay, moving into the second half right here, I actually have a Yachi Berry Landorus T with Stealth Rocks, Explosion, U-Turn, and Earthquake. Stealth Rocks are so instrumental this game in the fact that they can go ahead and break the Dragonite's multiscale, so you may find this EV spread really odd. I actually have nearly max HP and nearly max speed. The idea is, in the worst case scenario, if I do want my Rocks up, I can go ahead and Rocks up as they may switch into something like Feeny to Defog. I have enough speed for the Tapu Fini no matter what. I explode for like 70%, which is going to really help out my Mismagius' Shadow Ball, and I keep Rocks up because they can't Defog as they don't have a Pokemon to Defog against, so that's going to be a very cool scenario. The Explosion will also go ahead and put the Tapu Fini in range of my Adam Mega Lopunny's return no matter what, so that's definitely very good right here. I am able to go ahead and check any not Choice Scarf variant of the Nidoking right here with Earthquake without even without any attack investment. Obviously Earthquake is going to go ahead and knock that out. This is also a Glur for the Mega Gallade. I nearly always knock that out with Explosion, and obviously with my Yachi Berry I can go ahead and take an Ice Punch no problem right here, so if they do go for the Ice Punch into this, I can just go ahead and explode and knock that out, and that makes my Mismagius a lot more viable right here, just due to Shadow Sneak being eliminated, obviously. And then finally just U-Turn, because I do want a way to go ahead and get out safely against Pokemon like Seismitoad. Defensive Seismitoad is one of their better responses right here, so I obviously don't want to explode on that, it'll only do like 40%. Obviously, U-turning into Pokemon like my next Pokemon here, Shaman, could be better against Seismitoad. But yeah, the Rocks are going to be very important right here. I may honestly just go for Rocks as a lead, and then just throw out Landorus and explode on that Feeny as it tries to defog, and then try to play a super offensive game from then. I could definitely see that one being one of my better ways of going about this right here, but Landorus T, very important right here, named after Mike, after the Pokemaster Mike as usual. And let's go ahead and get right into my final two Pokemon, first of two being Shaman. Okay, second to last Pokemon I have right here is Gracidia, or Shaman right here, which is earning a Leftovers bulky spread. I have max HP, I have enough speed for the Tapu Fini no matter what, I always outspeed that. I also outspeed Adamant or Modest Jirachi right here, so that can definitely be very helpful. We just got 3 attacks plus the Synthesis right here. Really just a nice check to his bulky water types, being Tapu Fini, the, what's the other thing? The Seismitoad, obviously, and then with this bulk right here with the HP investment along with the 12 that I have in defense, it kind of serves as a check to the Decidueye, of course, because I outspeed any variant of Decidueye, and, I mean, a Brave Bird will do a lot, but I can go ahead and do a lot of work between my Synthesis, the Ice, Hidden Power Ice, obviously, and then of course all the recoil damage it'll be taking in that process, so that can definitely be very good right here. The biggest responses he has to this are Pokemon like the Alolan Muck, which can go ahead and sponge any attack that I may want to click, or the Power doesn't even do too much, but I figured it would be my best option to hit both that and the Jirachi right here, so that can definitely be very good. And then of course we have the Seed Flare right here just as our main stab. Hidden Power Ice is basically just to go ahead and press your Dragonite. Hidden Power Ice before the multi-skill. Basically, if they have multi-skill intact and they go for Hidden Power Ice, the Hidden Power Ice will put it in range of my Mismagius's Icy Wind, and basically from there I can go ahead and just force them to knock me out, because obviously Hidden Power Ice after the multi-skill is broken would knock them out. And basically the way this works is because my Mismagius is obviously immune to the Extreme Speed, I really don't have to care about Extreme Speed picking off my Mismagius late game from the Dragonite. So it's a really solid check with the Mismagius right here. So this is basically a combination of that to go ahead and deal with the Dragonite right here. I really could see Shaman being one of the bigger setup fodders for the Dragonite, so I wanted to make sure that the combination of this plus Mismagius could check that Pokemon, and let's go ahead and get right into my final Pokemon right here, being GoFed, T-Seb, my Empoleon. Alright, and wrapping up the team right here, I have a Shikaberry Empoleon with Defog, Knockoff, Scald, and Ice Beam. Even more Dragonite lure right here, we can go ahead and take a Earthquake due to my Shikaberry with the HP and defense investment right here, and hit that pretty hard with an Ice Beam. I do knock it out if multi-skill is broken. We have Knockoff right here because I could see Feeny and Jirachi being one of their better responses, and honestly, getting rid of those items would be so valuable right here. And then, of course, just Scald and Defog right here. Defog because Webs does have potential right here, and Rocks can go ahead and pressure a lot of my offense, being my Thunderous Air right here. It could put my Mismagius in range of those priority attacks, so Defog is definitely very valuable in this game. And then, of course, we actually have the Scald. This also serves as alert to the Nidoking pretty nicely, because I can take an Earth Power and a Thunderbolt due to my Spadef and the Shikaberry, and I can go ahead and Scald. Best case scenario is I'm put in Torrent range and just OHKO them with Scald. That would be absolutely beautiful, but if not, I'll definitely put them in range of Shadow Ball for Mismagius, which is the end goal right here. I really want Mismagius to go ahead and sweep, so really just a nice pivot into Pokemon like Vaporeon too. I can sponge any sort of Toxic due to my Steel typing and go for a knockoff against that. And it's also a really nice response to the Houndoom right here, because Houndoom, as I did say, is a very big threat. Obviously, I can go ahead and check it with my Mismagius, but nothing's really switching in besides Empoleon right here, so if Houndoom does come, Empoleon is going to be one of my better switch-ins to that. And that's going to be the squad. The match will be going live 22 hours from the time this video goes live, so tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you all are looking forward to it. Be sure to go ahead and check out my opponent, Sharpedo43, down below in the description, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Later.